Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 16th day of September, 2024. Well, tonight's the maiden moon. Tomorrow is the full moon or mother moon. It'll be in Pisces. There's also going to be a partial lunar eclipse at the same time, so lots of energy there. And then the following day will be Crone. So lots of energy with the full moon right now. It was pretty big last night, so it should be even nicer tonight, assuming the clouds aren't out. But sometimes I get pictures of them anyway, and it looks really cool with the cloud cover over it. So anyway, always looking for more moon pictures for the blog. Anyway, let's get started, and we'll draw if I can get my hand in the rune bag here. We'll draw a rune from the Elder Futhark bag for the above side of things. And where's my Geomancy runes? There they are. And then I'll follow up with a Geomancy rune. Well, come on. There we go. We have Vunyo. Vunyo is the 8th rune of the Elder Futhark. Vunyo, it looks like the letter P. It's the expression of joy and fellowship. It's the wish rune. It's about peace and harmony and success and happiness. So we start the money out on a positive note anyway, expressing Vunyo in our lives. And we'll throw down the 4 Geomancy runes here, the elemental ones, and put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. There's fire and there's earth. Well, okay. This is Carcer. Now, Carcer is admittedly a really negative influence. Some Geomancy lore considers it an evil influence. Looks like a little bird cage or a little ampule. But essentially what it is, it's a very ego-driven type of self-imprisonment, if you will. It means imprisonment, but I look upon it as self-imprisonment, and when we get caught up in negativity, it prevents us from being able to express Vunyo in our lives, that type of higher resonance, joy and happiness and fellowship with other people. It can mean hanging on to outmoded ideas and belief systems that really don't make you aware of the collective aspect of self, and the unity consciousness from which we emerge into this more narrow focus that we call reality, physical reality. And so what I think that in terms of today, we have to be mindful of that and do what we can to release ourselves from is the isms of life, racism, sexism, ageism, all things like that, that keep us apart, that try to make the illusion of separation between all of us real, instead of coming from the standpoint of the self and the other side of self, which is everything and everyone outside of the self, to understand that relationship and that we're populating our experiences in physical reality with all of that, that we choose, and to understand that relationship, that it could even if it's just about learning what we don't want to do or don't want to think or believe or feel. But Carcer, to be it's almost like we've got two extremes today with the runes, where the higher vibrational Vunyo versus the lower vibrational Carcer. We need to transmute that Carcer energy into that higher vibrational Vunyo energy and let go of belief structures and the isms of life. To where we can come together as one, and reflect that. I mean, that's the whole idea of heaven on earth, is bringing that vibration into our physical awareness here. But right now, there's such a separation between folks, and it's confusing and it's upsetting and it's very difficult to understand the hate versus love dichotomy that's happening now, that the hate is so strong. And I think that you're looking at it right here with Vunyo and Carcer, So keep that in mind. I know that's kind of heavy for a Monday, but keep that in mind. And let's go ahead and take some cards here. I'll just shuffle a little bit more. Let's just cut the deck and take the lower half and draw 3 cards. Well, we have one card from the Major Arcana. I'm going to put that in the center. The Hanged Man, the idea of surrendering to spirit. We'll put that in the center as sort of the main idea of the card part of the reading. The answer, if you will, to and the guidance that it wants to give. The Major Arcana cards, again, are soul archetype cards, and so what is the soul's guidance, having to do with our perceptions? How is that guiding all of that? And again, surrendering to Vunyo, that higher vibrational soul type of a collective nature of who we are with one another, letting go of the Carcer influence would be the Hanged Man here. But essentially it's about alignment and transformation and change and sacrifice, and there's an as above so below, obviously an as above so below influence there. Spirit focus, letting go again of all of that negative energy that keeps us bound, in the Carcer influence, bound to ideas that really have no purpose other than to say, what, that's not what I want in my life. We start here with the 2 of Cups. Actually, before I start, let me, I always get started and forget to do the numerology. Well, where did my screen go? There it is. I don't need that. So Vunyo is the 8th rune of the Elder Futhark. So 8 plus 2 plus 12 plus 6 for the 6 of Swords is 28. Yeah, so 2 and 8 is 10, 1 and 0 is 1, so we're looking at new beginnings. Let me put this here so I don't forget. Letting go of all of this would then create a new beginning for us, wouldn't it? And we would begin to heal the polarity within, heal the polarity without as well, with one another. This is a perfect example of the masculine and feminine polarity, the projective and receptive presence. You see the 2, which can mean healing, it can mean balance, love, decisions. But here they're giving each other not only with, they're basically expressing Vunyo, not only the gift of fellowship and love and joy and healing. Here it's happening here. You see the dual line here that you see in some of the cards from the Rider-Waite Tarot. They've stepped away from their home. Something's happened that they need to heal. There's a rift or something between them, an argument or whatever. And you see the man taking a step toward the woman, reaching his hand out. You can see that's his hand right there. Both are holding on to chalices or cups. Cups is the water element, so you're looking at compassion and love and balance and healing and momentum, change. And so there's a change that needs to happen here, and it needs to happen in the direction of healing whatever's going on between them. And again, the man takes the step forward. He initiates that process for whatever reason. Maybe he did something that he shouldn't have done. But in any event, she waits receptively for him to make that first move, to initiate that exchange. And you see the winged lion up above there, the lion's head, and you see the caduceus below. And so that tells us that some healing needs to take place, and somebody needs to initiate that today. And whether or not if you're looking at letting go of the negative influences in your own life, you're going to be the one that takes that initiative. That's a very active type of principle. It's not just going to come by just sitting there and doing nothing. You have to make that choice to heal. Again, 2 is about decisions, and so you make that decision to heal the spirit within, essentially, and make that the resonant force in your life. And again, surrendering to spirit, surrendering to that higher consciousness, that unity consciousness, that vunyo energy, letting go of all of the negativity that has kept you in a place of separation from other people. And then you have a new journey to take, don't you? You see, this is generally thought of, the Six of Swords is the journey over water, but it's also a journey to new perceptions. Letting things freeze a little bit in you, letting the Isa within, the Norn rune of the present moment or the static realm, freeze this type of energy that's negative and let it dissolve away when it melts, right? And melts back into the collective nature of self here with the water. It can represent that as well. But you see this scene where you see a man who may just be the person who's driving the boat, essentially, or it could be the father in the case of, and this could be a small family here. You see the child here and what looks like maybe the mother huddled against the cold. They both are, but the 6 is about a shared path. It's about empathy, guidance, assistance, but here it can also mean about a journey or a shared path to new perceptions. The swords is the air element, and you're looking at your ideas and your thoughts, and it's also about balance and justice and truth versus deception. But it's a very a Mercury type of an influence with swords, with the air element, because it's really about finding that balance between higher awareness and the physical ego of things, and with a heavier weight on the higher awareness, obviously, because that's what we are. We're souls, and so that should be the dominant energy that we express in our lives. All too often it's not, and we get caught up in the Karser part of things. Maybe some people do, some people don't, but some people do, and letting go of perceptions that no longer serve and moving on into something new and fresh. It's like when you go out in the first snow and everything feels so fresh outside. You have that energy in the air. It's cold, and it really clears your mind. It clears your perceptions. If it covers the ground, then you don't see all the stuff you didn't pick up, and if you're looking out in your garden space, all the stuff you didn't clean out. It covers all of it, and it blankets it in something that is pure and honest and true, and it just seems like, in order to let go of the Karser experience, the negativity, the keeping yourself bound to certain perceptions that really aren't doing you any good and aren't reflecting reality. That's the other part of the isms. They don't reflect reality. If you're prejudiced, if you're racist against a particular group of people, that's a choice. That's not something that's a fundamental truth, that you have to be that way, that they're different, that it's us versus them. No, it's all us. This is the truth of it. It's all us. And so to have this need to be harmful to other people, another group of people, or several groups of people, whatever it is really it's a devastating thing to do and to believe. And so letting go of all of that and embracing the shared path that we're on, embracing the shared journey that we're on, and moving forward in a direction where we get our thoughts all in a row, right? And we take with us what works, and we leave behind the Karser stuff that doesn't. And we move forward together into a new era, a new vibration, if you will, where we're not thinking about one another and as the us versus them mentality. We're thinking about it as the us, as the one family, as the unity consciousness, which essentially is what defines Vunyo. understanding that that fellowship is a higher consciousness experience. And as we transmute ego into spirit, we see that happen. All right. We see that type of energy unfold. It's just the natural state of who we are. In the unity consciousness, when we're not in the bodies, when it's just all soul energy, it's all there, it's all one. And we forget that when we invoke ourselves into form, when the soul comes into form, and it's trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to experience, what it is I came here to experience? Well, maybe some of it is to experience that, but at some point you have to let it go, and you have to see the destructiveness of it. Carcer's very destructive influence, and in order to embrace Vunyo, you have to let go of it and realize that it does not reflect our fundamental shared reality or shared purpose. So anyhow, I don't think we need another card. Again, with the overall numerology of 1, it may be for some people a new beginning, and that's okay. We all have to begin somewhere, but it begins by letting go of the negative Carcer influence in our lives and move forward together on a shared path, to where that elevates everyone, that respects and loves everyone, because they're simply the other side of self. They're you. They're me. They're not separate. It's just the illusion of separateness that we have to get past. So, anyhow, that's it. Not too bad for a Monday. Anyway, thanks for watching. And again, get out under the maiden moon tonight, whether you can see her or not. She's there. And begin to draw down goddess presence, draw down the moon energy. And tomorrow night, I believe it's at, let me look here. I want to say it's like somewhere around 12, or no, 7:35, not 12. 7:35 is when the full moon is perfectly full. That's here Pacific time. And the lunar eclipse is also, I think, at its peak then. I don't think it begins then. I always get confused on that. But and whether or not we see it or not. But it's going to be, it either peaks at 7:35 or it begins, but I don't think it begins. I think it peaks. But anyway, that energy is they say in a lunar eclipse you get a month's worth of energy all in one moment, and so a little period there. The same with a solar eclipse, only it's a year. With a solar eclipse, you get a whole year's worth of energy during the time of the eclipse. So, it could be very emotional, it could be very enlightening, could be awakening, very transformative. So be there in that moment, and see and chart down, write down in a journal or somewhere what you were thinking, what you were feeling at that time, and then on the following day, on the crone phase of the full moon, reflect on all of it. And think about the ways you can manifest new joy and love and transformation in your life. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. And everything's out on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video and a window will open, and it's right there at the top. And if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you'll see all the social media sites I'm on. But anyway, I also post my stuff over on Substack, Medium, and Patreon. So if you read stuff over there, you like doing that there, then you can do that. Substack, it's under my name, Jan Erickson, but it's also under Witch Notes, and so which is actually a book I wrote, but and a series I did on the blog for a while, a few years back. Witch Notes is the book I wrote. Is just a little book of correspondences that I use. And it was just easier than always opening the grimoire and trying to find it, because you're writing things, nothing's in order in a grimoire. It just isn't. And so unless you redo it or something, nothing's in order. And so I just wanted to have something like that. So I called it Witch Notes because I had written a series called Witch Notes, and I thought, well, I'm just going to call it that because that's really what it is. And so anyway, that's what the Substack thing is called. And so, but anyway, I guess that's it. The forecast is out. That came out Sunday morning. Everything comes out on the blog in the midnight hour of Sunday morning. And So the correspondences, the astrological overview, the forecast, and then there's I'm doing an herb magic series, so that's up as well. And I guess that's it. That's all I need to tell you. In any event, thanks again for watching. Oh, I know, click subscribe here if you haven't already. I'd love you to do that, and come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.